How's it going, football fans? Welcome back inside the set of Gridiron Glory. I'm your host, Keith Turner, joined alongside two great West Virginia reporters, Todd and Kyle Bratke, as we're going to break down this week's huge game of the week, a classic rivalry across the border as Parkersburg travels to Parkersburg South. Now, Kyle, we'll start with you. We know that this game, it doesn't have playoff implications this year, and it's the last game of the season. What does this mean for the Big Reds?
It's the last game of the season for the first time since 1975, but it still means everything to the Big Reds despite no playoff implications. The Big Reds have lost 2 in a row to the Patriots. Also with the win Friday night, they would sit at 799 wins all time, so that would give them great momentum going into the offseason to try to get win number 800, that first game of the next season. So this game still means everything to Parkersburg.
Well, for Parkersburg South, across the river, it means everything to them as well. Coach Monketti, it's his first year as Parkersburg South head coach, so his first game as head coach of this rivalry. But don't forget, Parkersburg fans, in 06 and 07, he was the defensive coordinator on those 2 Parkersburg state title teams. Not to mention, Parkersburg South can win 3 straight against Parkersburg for the first time ever. So plenty of implications in this game.
So we know this game will be huge, although playoffs are not on the line. So what do these two teams need to do to get the job done? We'll start with the Patriots.
Well, with Parkersburg South, they have to focus on the running game. Cody Smith, 633 yards, leads the team in carries and touchdowns with 8 rushing touchdowns. So he needs to get going. And Brendan Schwendeman averages over 10 yards a carry, 741 yards on the ground himself. But he has cooled off a bit since his week 1 thrashing of Ripley, where he had over 400 yards. So they really need to focus on that 2-headed monster at running back.
Now, what about the Big Reds?
For the Big Reds, it's all about their offense. They've been struggling. They lost 3 in a row, but last week they snapped that with a 25-7 win over Riverside. Dan Fox had 2 receiving touchdowns. Chandler Hamilton, a long 63-yard touchdown run. Aaron Roberts over 150 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and most importantly, no interceptions. Also, that defense, which had been giving up 34 points a game, only allowed 7. So on both sides of the ball, they need to stay consistent this week.
So we know all of these players are excited for this game, but let's focus on one player who is the X factor for the Big Reds to get the big win.
Well, for the Big Reds, it's Dan Fox. He's listed as a wide receiver. He has 7 receiving touchdowns on the year, but he does it all for Parkersburg. He'll return punts, he returns kicks. Every now and then you'll see him in the backfield get a handout. Also has a pick 6 on the year. So the Big Reds go as Dan Fox goes.
So who is head coach Mike Eddy looking forward to have a big game for those Patriots?
Well, it has to be his young sophomore quarterback, Garrett Gilkson. In their last win against John Marshall 3 weeks ago, he had his best game of the year, 180 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He has 845 yards passing and 10 touchdowns through the air this year and 200 yards on the ground. So for Parkersburg South to be successful, the young guys got to step up.
Well, fellas, we've done enough talking. Talk is cheap. Let's embrace the debate. Who wins the Battle of the Burg this year? Kyle, why don't I start with you?
Well, you know, the Big Reds snapped a 3-game losing streak last week. They've got the momentum. That rushing game continues to roll. The defense keeps playing great, and my alma mater goes across the river and doesn't allow the Patriots to win 3 in a row for the first time in this rivalry. The Big Reds get it done.
Not so fast, my friend. It's at Erickson All Sports Facility. Don't forget that. It's on the south side. Parkersburg South has that 2-headed monster at running back, like I mentioned. Parkersburg's given up 34 rushing touchdowns this year on defense. So Parkersburg South is taking this one in Erickson.
Wow, fans. Well, you've heard it from these two great West Virginia reporters, and now we want to hear from you. Who do you think is going to win this great rivalry? Will it be Parkersburg or will it be Parkersburg South? The choice is yours. Tweet us at Gridiron Glory, and you can use the hashtag TheGlory13, and your tweet could just air on our next broadcast. And of course, join us Friday night as we have highlights of this great game, first-round coverage of Ohio playoffs, and a lot more. Until then, I'm Keith Turner alongside Kyle Bratke and Todd, reminding you there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.